I am pretty bad at Dark Souls games. So today I've made the decision to see how far I can get in Dark Souls 1 in 1 hour. During that 1 hour, I would like to beat as many bosses as possible. So I started my timer and got to work by working on collecting my gear and getting through the Undead asylum. Before long, I ended up at my first bonfire, which also led me to the first boss, the asylum demon. But I was finally able to get my first weapon, which would help me defeat my first few bosses and many enemies. Before I can start fighting anything, I first had to stop and give a visit to my boy Oscar, who gave me some much needed Estus flasks and a key. Finally, I was prepared to defeat my first boss, and it hasn't even been 4 minutes yet. But of course, I managed to miss the drop and miss out on getting a lot of damage on the demon. Thankfully, this boss isn't very hard, so it didn't take long to kill, and I was able to move into the Firelink Shrine in under 5 minutes. I didn't waste any time at Firelink Shrine. I moved forward and completely forgot to level up with my souls. And I almost killed myself by rolling off this cliff. Now I had my next real challenge, which was getting through the Undead burg without getting cornered and killed by the large amounts of enemies scattered throughout the town. Thankfully, I didn't have any issues and I made it to my next bonfire safely. I just had the second half of the Undead burg to make it through and I would be at my second boss. Other than getting wrecked by this burning barrel, I actually made it through with no issues. So with that, I entered my next boss arena. And I killed these 2 knights on top of this tower, and then I aggroed the boss so I could drop on its head. But, as I said before, I'm bad at Souls games, so I managed to die on one of the easiest bosses in the game. Without hesitation, I tried again, and I was honestly making good time. It's only been 14 minutes. Once I easily defeated the Taurus demon, I was feeling pretty good. I then tried to spend more time farming some souls from the dragon on the bridge, but of course I forgot to kick the ladder down, so I had to waste more time running back. Before I could do anything else, I had to grab one of my favorite weapons from the Soul series, the Claymore. After that, I tried once again to farm some souls with the dragon bridge technique, but I couldn't seem to get him to come back, so I gave up and moved on to the Undead parish, and here I was challenged with a few more difficult enemies, but nothing too hard. So before much longer, I found my way to the next bonfire, where I also came across this amazing man named Andre, who would help me upgrade my claymore, and many more weapons in the future. After that, I left to get some souls to help me buy some titanite to help upgrade my claymore, but first I had to destroy this huge beast of a knight. Thankfully he dropped a titanite shard, so it was well worth it. Then I spent some more time fighting enemies to collect souls. Once I had enough souls, I went back, made myself human, and upgraded my claymore once more. Since it had only been about 35 minutes, I decided to try and get some more souls to help upgrade my sword one last time. This would give me a better chance at beating the bell gargoyles because I was a little worried. I was underleveled, I had no armor, and the bell gargoyles can prove to be difficult for new players like me. Once I made it back to upgrade my sword one more time, I decided it was getting a little close to the 1 hour mark, so I decided to make the difficult run to the gargoyle fight. Here, I had a lot of enemies to fight and dodge in such a tight building, but it worked out well and I made it to the door. I considered summoning Solaire, but I decided not to since this challenge is supposed to be challenging, so I didn't want any help. but I can't believe I actually made it here before 1 hour. My goal now is to beat them before 1 hour. And this fight ended up being really intense. I was in disbelief that I actually beat them on my first try. On my previous attempts with much more prepared characters, I had struggled a lot more, so I'm impressed with myself. With great pride, I rang the first bell and began to move towards the next boss, the Capra demon. I had about 15 minutes left, so I had high hopes to get there in time. First, I had to get out of this arena because I was trapped by all the enemies in the way. Before I left the Undead parish, I decided to level up. After that, I made my way out, but I got trapped and died in a classic Dark Souls 1 way. So, feeling the pressure to make it to the Capra demon before I made it to 1 hour, I rushed to his arena. If you have ever played this game, you probably know the pain of trying to get to this arena and the pains of the arena itself. This is one of the most painful boss designs I have ever dealt with in any game ever. Surprisingly, I made it past all the enemies and into the arena on my first try, but I failed horribly. So I tried again, but of course I failed miserably. Anyways, that's all the time I have today. Thank you so much for watching. Leave a comment if you'd like to see part 2.